Today, I rise to table Budget 2024-25, the third budget of the government Nova Scotians elected in 2021. This budget comes at a time when our economic landscape is shifting. Nova Scotia's economy and population have grown much more quickly than expected coming out of the pandemic. In 2023, we estimate that Nova Scotia's economy was 20% larger than it was in 2019. That led to higher than expected revenues for the province. But do you know who else that's surprised? The people who agreed with our economic estimates. Canada's largest financial institutions and leading academics here in Atlantic Canada. Like many other provinces, the government ended up with more revenue than it expected. The unexpected revenues gave us the opportunity to make investments, to get Nova Scotians access to the health care they need faster, to increase the supply of housing for people struggling to find it, to be responsive to Nova Scotians experiencing wildfires, floods, and other extreme weather events, to help those most in need with the cost of living at a time when many have been finding it hard to make ends meet, to help volunteers and community organizations provide sport, recreation, arts, and cultural experiences after a pandemic when they had no ability to fundraise. We did this while ending the last 2 years with a budget surplus and preventing the net debt from rising by almost $500 million. We continue to receive solid credit ratings. Moody's Investor Services long-term rating of AA2 stable continues to reflect confidence in the province's fiscal management and noted strong management policies support sound financial planning and debt management. DBRS Limited confirmed our credit ratings at A high in November, noting that Nova Scotia has been a perennially strong fiscal performer. And S&P confirmed our stable outlook and expressed confidence that our government will keep its focus on long-term fiscal sustainability while also addressing the needs of the population. Budget 2024-25 reflects our fiscal capacity, builds on the work we have already started, and sets a path forward for the year ahead. Cost of living has become top of mind for people as we experience some of the highest increases in inflation in 30 years. The #1 ask by Nova Scotians in this year's budget consultation was for tax relief. Madam Speaker, they're going to get it. Starting January 1st, Nova Scotians will feel income tax relief when they see less money coming off their paychecks so that more of it can land in their pockets. Madam Speaker, income tax brackets will be indexed, but we're going to do something more than the opposition said, Madam Speaker. We're also going to index the basic personal amount, and we're going to index various non-refundable tax credits. All to lower the income taxes people pay. We appreciate that not everyone experiences the same challenges in the same way. So over the past 2.5 years, we have provided a number of programs to help people make ends meet. This budget does more. 500 more renters will get the help with the cost of their housing through the rent supplement program. The number of rent supplements has more than doubled from 4,000 2.5 years ago to 8,500 with this budget. Wow. 2,250 homeowners will get help with urgent emergency repairs or disability-related modifications to their homes with more funding for the Home Repair and Adaptation Program. No one will pay higher premiums for seniors or family pharmacare. 60% or 15,000 recipients of the Employment Support and Income Assistance Program who have disabilities will receive $300 more per month. Wow. And people who are connected to the labor market and receive income assistance will be able to keep more of the wages they earn. We will be increasing the income exemption threshold so they will continue to feel supported as they pursue employment opportunities. This budget continues to invest in community-based organizations to help with food security programs and give people a source of local, healthy food in their communities. Madam Speaker, we know that good nutrition is foundational for a child's learning and well-being, and that the rising cost of food is placing additional pressure on many families. This year, we will launch the first ever province-wide school lunch program. Wow. Madam Speaker, by all the people standing in here, I think we might get a unanimous vote in favor of this budget. Building on the existing breakfast programs, the school lunch program will ensure that all children have access to healthy, nutritious food, leading to better learning environment. This program will be phased in over 4 years, beginning with $18.8 million this year. Nova Scotian children deserve to have a strong start in life. This budget invests in several approaches to get them the care they need and to help address childhood poverty. Efforts continue to expand the resources available to foster families and the children in their care. More support will be available to young people leaving the minister's care at the age of 19, who face major life decisions and require additional help during this transition. The EDGE program, which helps prepare youth at risk for the next steps of their education and employment, is also expanding. This budget continues to deliver the increased Nova Scotia Child Benefit, a tax-free monthly payment for more than 22,000 families to give their children more of what they need. In the past 2 years, that amount has increased by $600 per child to $1,525. Access to specialized services for preschoolers can be difficult. More families waiting for Nova Scotia hearing and speech services will be helped this year, and we'll see important changes being made to provincial autism services for children. Our province needs more childcare spaces, early childhood educators, teachers, and more resources for classrooms, and we continue to respond. With the help of our federal partners, we've invested $200 million more in the childcare system over the past 3 years to lower fees for families, create more spaces, and enhance after-school care. We are seeing growth in our school population. Since we took office, investments in the public education system have increased over 14% to nearly $1.7 billion. This year's capital plan includes $208 million to build, renovate, and repair schools and install more modular learning spaces to help with student enrollment growth. This continued expansion is creating more opportunities for those interested in early childhood education and teaching. Madam Speaker, we will continue to do everything we can to help those who need it most. Unfortunately, there are some Nova Scotians who find themselves without a home, and they need our support urgently. We are working with community partners to provide more options as quickly as we can, including additional supportive housing units, shelter spaces, daytime drop-in centres, and other temporary lodging. While we know these are not permanent solutions, we will continue to work hard at addressing homelessness and putting the right kind of support in place to help people deal with their individual circumstances. Madam Speaker, to honour our commitment following the human rights remedy, government is transforming support for people living with disabilities. Significant changes are underway within the Disability Support Program. More resources than ever before are being made available to people with disabilities so they can make their own decisions and access funding to better meet their needs. Over the next few years, people will continue to be moved from large institutions and supported in the community, and they will have easier access to clinical programs and mental health supports. Our focus on equity and anti-racism acknowledges the need for change and further investment. The needs vary, and so do the solutions. The Office of Equity and Anti-Racism is moving forward with its strategic action plan to help break down barriers for diverse communities. Important investments are being made to address recommendations of the final report of the Mass Casualty Commission to help make it easier for people to access mental health and grief supports. Transition houses and women's shelters across the province deliver essential programs for women in need, and they will receive more funding this year. Healthcare continues to be the single largest area of provincial investment because everyone in this province deserves to know that it is there for them or a loved one who needs it. The previous government left us with piecemeal approaches that resulted in an outdated system for the care our rapidly growing population requires. This year, a total of $7.3 billion will be spent on healthcare, a 36% increase over the past 3 years. The increased funding ensures Nova Scotia Health, IWK Health, and other healthcare providers can deliver programs and services to a province that has grown almost 10% in just a few years, while at the same time transforming the system for a healthier future. The healthcare system is interconnected. Challenges in one area have root causes in another. For example, one of the root causes of delays in ambulance offload times in emergency department care is the availability of hospital beds. In many cases, Nova Scotians who need a long-term care placement are waiting in a hospital bed because they can't go home or are waiting for a nursing home bed. So the thousands of long-term care beds being built and renovated across the province today not only provide our seniors with new places to call home, but there are also investments in the overall efficiency of the healthcare system. The introduction of the new Life Flight plane is another success, ensuring better, faster care. Since it went into service, it has saved nearly 5,200 hours of ground ambulance time. That means more ambulances and paramedics can stay in their communities to respond to local calls instead of driving patients over longer distances for appointments. When someone needs health care in Nova Scotia, they now have more options in their community and at their fingertips. They can access many more services in pharmacy clinics, mobile care clinics, urgent treatment centres, and online. These services were not available 3 years ago, and they may actually be better options for people who didn't have anywhere to go but a hospital emergency department. And I think we can all agree that preventing unnecessary trips to the emergency department is best for everyone. This year, an additional $184 million will enable progress on the Action for Health plan and improvements that will have a lasting, positive impact system-wide. More emergency care initiatives, more actions to move patients through the health system more quickly and reduce wait times for surgeries and diagnostic tests, more primary health care options, and more digital solutions. We are seeing results. Last year alone, 2,600 more surgeries. The surgical wait list was reduced by 27%. Over 25,000 more CT scans and ultrasounds. 60,000 more primary care appointments available to Nova Scotians. Many people suffer from chronic illness. One of the most common is diabetes. This budget will help many Nova Scotians living with diabetes better manage their disease and save them money. With $7.2 million this year, Nova Scotia will help cover the cost of sensor-based glucose monitors and remove the age cap on the insulin pump program.
Good.
Considering a person with diabetes pays up to $4,000 per year for a sensor-based glucose monitor, over $6,000 for an insulin pump, and $4,000 for supplies, this is an important investment in the health of more than 4,000 Nova Scotians. Nova Scotia's cancer rates are among the highest in Canada. However, with critical investments in cancer research, better methods of detection, and more effective treatments in recent years, Nova Scotians are living longer with cancer than ever before. This year, our investment in the battle against cancer continues. With $61 million more, cancer patients will experience new digital imaging technology and equipment that provides adaptive radiation treatment. new precision medicine improvements, and an at-home cancer care program. Our government has been a strong advocate for investment in mental health. This year, more people will be able to connect to the mental health services they need with $36 million more funding, and the province will make progress on its commitment to offer universal mental health and addictions care for all Nova Scotians. We are well into our multi-year plan to build modern healthcare facilities, with significant redevelopment projects in Halifax and Cape Breton Regional Municipality, and several other projects to upgrade and expand local healthcare facilities across the province. The digital backbone of the healthcare system needs attention too, and work is underway to build the one-person, one-record system and other IT projects. We will continue to make progress this year on expanding transitional care options and building 5,700 new and replacement long-term care spaces by 2032. That's good news because 3 years ago there were 500 long-term care beds closed due to staffing shortages. Wow. Now every bed is in use and making a positive impact on the entire system. I am pleased to say this budget provides more funding for long-term care facilities to deliver improved care to their residents. A $10.7 million increase will be provided to help them move closer to the new standard of providing 4.1 hours of care to each person every day. This is on top of the significant investments made in safety equipment in the long-term care sector. Madam Speaker, although we are building more capacity in long-term care homes, we know that many seniors would prefer to stay longer in their own homes, which relieves pressure in the healthcare system. We are continuing to invest in programs to help them do that. The Seniors Care Grant, the Home Repair and Adaptation Program, Home Care and Home Support, the Heating Assistance Rebate and the Seniors Property Provincial Tax Rebate, and the Property Tax Rebate. People who deliver care are vital to the success of the system. Doctors, nurses, paramedics, continuing care assistants, lab techs, and we need more of them. We want to encourage more Nova Scotians to work in healthcare, and we're making it easier than ever before for them to answer the call. Bursaries, financial incentives, and other efforts will continue under this budget, building on the tremendous work already started to recruit, retain, and train more healthcare professionals. The Premier has offered jobs for nursing graduates and has been working with his counterparts across the country to ensure we do not take each other's healthcare workers because we all need them. We are excited to continue to work with the post-secondary sector and other partners to expand training seats and train more people in healthcare professions. When I was growing up, seasonal employment was common, and so were high rates of unemployment. When I graduated from university, there were 2 graduates for every job. Things have changed. Nova Scotia today does not have the people to fill all the jobs available. We want to help Nova Scotians position themselves to realize these opportunities. And we want to help Nova Scotian business owners to have access to the people they need to grow their businesses. With a $100 million investment over 3 years, $46 million this year, and changes being made to the apprenticeship system, people will find it easier to enter the skilled trades and get into the job market. These solutions have come directly from the sectors, including more training seats and training some trades faster, grants for tools and technology supports, eliminating certification exam fees for experienced trade professionals, attracting more women and people from diverse backgrounds, incentives for employers to hire and advance apprentices, creating more pathways for newcomers to enter the skilled trades. And once they make that first step, once they're on the job, they can earn a very good income and build a strong future for themselves. We are putting more money in the pockets of people under the age of 30 in the skilled trades and film and video occupations through a one-of-a-kind provincial income tax refund. The More Opportunity for Skilled Trades program, or MOST, can help them get their start because we need them to work with us to build our province. Nurses are now eligible to apply. When they complete their 2023 tax return and receive their notice of assessment, they can apply for MOST to get their provincial taxes back. Post-secondary students can gain hands-on experience, build their resumes, and pay their bills with co-op jobs and internships. And this budget continues to invest in our partnership with MITAX to support 3,200 paid internships. Madam Speaker, we need a strong workforce to build the housing our province so desperately needs. It's not surprising that housing was one of the top areas of interest in the budget consultation. Our Action for Housing Plan is a forward-looking, 5-year housing plan released a few months ago, along with $1 billion in commitments to create the conditions for more than 40,000 new housing units. Those units will come in many forms, and we are going to leverage every dollar we can to build the housing people need. For the first time in more than 20 years, that will include new public housing, a critical step in the right direction. The capital plan includes $35 million to build new public housing units and repair and maintain existing public housing. 25 new modular housing units will expand affordable public housing options in 10 communities for up to 88 new tenants. They will be in place by the end of March. The private sector can take advantage of our decision to rebate 10% of the provincial HST paid on new construction of purpose-built multi-unit apartments. That's an investment that could reach $80 to $100 million. 3 new NSCC student housing projects are under development, including 2 that will open this fall in Dartmouth and Pictou. The projects announced today could create up to 620 spaces for NSCC students, easing the pressure on local housing markets. Private developers and community housing developers have access to the Affordable Housing Development Program, which provides forgivable loans to help fund the construction of new housing or the conversion of non-residential buildings. Starting this year, the $28.6 million program will be expanded to accept proposals from universities that want to take action on student housing. Budget 2024-25 invests in strategic infrastructure for a growing economy to build our communities and connect people to the programs and services they rely on. A new Cellular for Nova Scotia program will improve cell coverage in HRM and across the province. Phase 1 will focus on existing infrastructure to keep costs down, and Phase 2 will close gaps in the system with new infrastructure. Our government is maintaining increased investment in local roads, with 130% more for local paved roads. We have nearly tripled funding for gravel roads. And we have more than tripled funding for local road maintenance. When it comes to driving Nova Scotia's economic growth, we're focusing on growing strategic sectors. Nova Scotia is poised to be a world leader in the production and export of green hydrogen. Yes. Which will help us and our global partners transition to cleaner economies. The Climate Change Plan for Growth, with $36.7 million this year, will create more opportunities for businesses and community organizations to do their part. This year's funding will encourage farmers, fishers, and their sectors to adopt clean technologies and reduce their energy consumption. Our rural economy depends on crops, livestock, and food production. Work continues to upgrade the Dykeland system that supports the agriculture sector. And government is funding pilot projects that bring locally grown food into publicly funded institutions. As Nova Scotia continues to implement forestry practices to protect ecosystems and biodiversity, $1.8 million will be provided to help industry adapt to these changes. Before I close,
don't close. Keep going.
I would like to extend a personal thank you to the team at Finance and Treasury Board. They are always prudent, always thoughtful, and respectful of the decisions governments make in trying to meet the needs of citizens. I would like to thank PCMLAs for the ideas they have shared to create this budget. And for the important role opposition members will play in asking questions about this budget. To the Premier for his willingness to be decisive and take action. And for the energy he shows us each day as he reaches out to Nova Scotians to listen to them. And to my family, to Lucy for understanding why this work is important and requires sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
To Owen and Ben for all they do to help out at home. And to Ivy, Willow, and Lachlan, who may one day better understand why Daddy went to Halifax again. Madam Speaker, our province has changed so much in the last few years. Our population has grown, and so have the needs that go with that, but our capacity to respond has also grown. Our government has been investing in our future. Much of the focus has been on fixing health care and responding to the housing and infrastructure needs of a place more people want to call home. Along the way, we have helped people with higher costs of living. This budget brings something new: tax relief. The wish of this government and the aim of this budget is to assure Nova Scotians that their government is taking action, so that everyone can realize the opportunity to live in a province with a future that is better for them.